So, thank you very much for talking, and see what happens with our conversation.
My name is Camille, and I've been a resident here for a year and a few months.
At Great Vows Zen Monastery.
At Great Vows Zen Monastery, and I've been mostly in charge of filming Hogen, and the person that I film with suggested that we talk to each other in front of the cameras, and so here we are.
So what's important to you? What's really of interest to you in this process?
Now you're interviewing me. I think that what I've been the most curious about in filming all of you priests and, spiritual leaders is the ways in which you're all human. And I think that that's a very special thing to uncover, is the just so that when people watch the videos, they can see themselves in you and see the clarity in your mind and feel like it's something that's attainable for them. So my goal was always to be like, tell me about what's been hard in your life and how you've moved through it, and the things that you've learned the hard way, and to help people get out of the ruts that they're in, know that there's a way out. So like yesterday when you were talking about why you started practicing, it was very special.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. So
what's it mean to be human? That's an interesting question.
Yeah. What do you think?
Essentially, in this particular body life, how can we not be whatever we call human? It's this. So the idea of there's a thing that is human, a thing that is more special, a thing that is, if I just bring out that dimension, that's the more human side than this part, it doesn't make much sense to me. That you're completely Camille. And what could be more human than that? So I don't think there's a special part of you, like the upper left quadrant of you is more human than the lower right quadrant. It doesn't make any sense. So congratulations on being fully human.
So you're asking me, so I see that, of course, everything that comes out of you is human. It's coming from a human entity.
Well, great.
But I guess what I'm trying to tease out of you is there's so many different ways to express humanity. It's
let's give me an example. Tell me give me an example. You've been here for all this time. What have you learned? How have you changed? What's your humanness that has come forth in a way that is fresh?
Well, I think that one of the things that I've learned is, I think I had an idea of spiritual practice, or like what we're aiming for a long time, and I think really it changed into something that was much more inclusive, and I see as something much more human, as I was describing human to be. So including all the human foibles and the silliness and the whimsy and the flaws, like the relative,
nice,
has been what I've learned.
Where does ethics fit into that? Ethics, social consciousness, where do they fit into this model?
I remember there's this one session where you talked about how perfection is, or ideals, like purity is what leads to genocide, and just like perfection is what kills diversity. And so I think
Perfection is the enemy of the good. Is the phrase I often
you
use.
use that. Perfection is the enemy of the good. But I think that if we recognize that we're imperfect beings, then we can step forward in a more realistic way, rather than having these, ideals of the way the world should be, as you say so many times, all the time. Yeah. So coming to terms with the fact that, like, sometimes I'm grumpy and sometimes I don't want to be perfect is helpful, and I think it's healthy to bring it into your life so that it doesn't, like, fester and get worse, become an even darker shadow within you. So making space for these things that I used to identify as, like, oh, I don't need to loosen up, like, I can be really strong and really, like, hold myself to this really high standard. But then I think that real darkness just gets darker, and really, I think it could just create a lot of harm if you just stay in that mode.
So if you try to become really strong all the time, you become stiff and rigid
and judgmental, maybe.
And judgmental of everybody who's weak.
Yeah.
Everybody who embodies the shadow side of you.
Yeah.
Everybody who embodies the thing that you're trying to resist.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do with the unskillfulness of human beings? We're all so unskillful. How do we work with that? How does that become spiritual practice?
We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we speak.
That's a platitude.
No, but I think that's an important...
That's a platitude.
It's an important thing to...
How would you say it in Camille words?
I want to start with that, because I think it's if you come to people and you listen and you ask questions, then they unravel their own, what is the word? They unravel their own stuff, their own beliefs. And so I don't think that my task in the world is to tell everybody how to live. It's to meet people and like work with them and expand my mind and be as open-hearted as possible. Like I made a friend a long time ago who showed me through his actions what kindness could be, like, and raised the bar for kindness. And I didn't know people could be that kind, and it changed everything. So I hope to be that for people in the world too.
It changed everything. What do you mean, changed everything?
Well, he was just so generous and like committed to people and open in ways that I had never considered people to do, and wasn't a pushover and all these things.
So this person touched you deeply partly because he was committed. What are you committed to?
I'm committed to, you're gonna challenge me on this, but to loving everything.
Nice. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I mean, I hear the word, but I don't know what it means for the Camille life and the Camille view. And
I don't know how to explain it. Really, it feels like an action and just an unfurling and a giving and this way of being that it's kind of like being a mother to every single particle of the universe.
Nice. So if you want to practice in that way, we have to have some direct experience that the universe is inherently good, that every moment is a gift. And then, if it's all a gift, if it's all something that comes out of nothing, and you can appreciate that, and by appreciating you can accept it, and by accepting it you can respond to it, and by responding to it you can, kind of revel in the interaction. I think that's very nice.
How do you open your heart?
Open your heart means it's closed. If there's some state that is not this way and you want to make it another state that is better, tell me what you mean by open your heart. You mean generate a particular emotion that tell me about that.
Perhaps it's presence, like witnessing people. How can I witness people? How can I be open to you?
You make your mind empty. You let your mind be quiet.
But what if your mind's empty and your heart's cold?
Tell me about that. Tell me what that experience was like.
You're saying no to things.
Well, I think that's where people are frozen. So that's not an empty mind. Empty mind is broad and quiet and spacious. And a frozen, rigid mind is frozen and rigid. So that is not an empty mind. That's a fixed belief. I got a fixed belief that I've got to be this way. I got a fixed belief I've got to be that way. Fixed belief I've got to present a certain kind of appearance. I mean, that's not an open heart, open mind. One of the ways I feel it is possible to touch the place where there are no thoughts before thought. And in that place, thoughts come and go. And when we're not obsessing about thoughts, a thought will arise, and before you know it, it's already gone. And you start thinking, what already happened? It's the past. By the time we recognize something, it's already over. So, by the time we label something, name something, identify something, it's already gone. It's already an idea, it's already an experience, it's already over. So, this is what we got.
This is what we got.
This is what we got. And we just do the best we can with what's coming forward this time, to live ethically, to be in connection with whatever and whoever we meet, to be human. Thank you very much.